33 years ago today, a military plane went down in Lagos. It was the deadliest C-130 crash in the world. 159 souls gone. Nigeria mourned, Ghana mourned, Tanzania, Uganda, Zimbabwe, all left with empty seats at the table. September 26, 1992, at 5:35 in the evening, the Nigerian Air Force C-130 Hercules, NAF 911, it took off from Lagos heading to Kaduna. On board were officers returning from a naval tour. Majors, lieutenant colonels, squadron leaders, navy commanders, even foreign officers who had come to Nigeria for training. Barely 3 minutes after takeoff, radar lost the plane. People on the ground knew something was wrong. Mrs. Funke Akane, a resident, she said it was one of the most dangerously low flights that she had ever seen. Mr. Bola Arije, he said when it hit, it sounded like an earthquake. In the cockpit, the pilots, Wing Commander Justice Alabosun, a father of 3, and Wing Commander A.S. Mamadi, they were fighting to save the plane. One engine failed. Then the second on the same wing, they dumped fuel. They tried steering towards the swamp so that it wouldn't crash into houses. Then a third engine quit. At that low altitude, the Hercules had no chance. So seconds later, it plunged nose first into the Ejibo swamp, just 10 kilometers away from the runway. Within 200 seconds of takeoff, that plane was gone. There were no survivors. The swamp swallowed the wreck. Locals found it in the morning. The next morning, road safety officials reached it by evening, but the military did not arrive properly until almost 48 hours after the crash. By then, the families had spent 2 days waiting, praying with no answers. And here's another thing that people never forgot. Many believed that the plane was overloaded. There was no official passenger list, and reports say that officers were crammed in, some without proper seats or even secured luggage. It was an allegation that only added more anger after the crash. The toll was devastating. 104 Nigerian Army officers, 17 Navy commanders, 18 Air Force officers and crew, 8 foreign officers and a handful of civilians. One of them was Sergeant Michael Bahago, an Army cameraman. Another was Mr. Augustine Okwe, a Ministry of Defense reporter. Some families lost double. 2 brothers, both of them were majors. They died together in that flight. One grieving mother, after losing her son, she herself died 6 months later. She couldn't take it. Most of these officers, they were in their 30s and 40s. They were in their prime. They were the future generals of Africa. In one crash, a whole generation was wiped out. Why did it happen? Officially, engine failure. But here's the gist. This very plane, it was scheduled for deep maintenance the next day, September 27. It was long overdue. For years, the Air Force had been flying what some of them had called flying coffins. Lockheed, the American manufacturer, they were furious. They said this was the first time that a C-130H would ever go down like this in 25 years of service. And then came the secrecy. The defense minister at the time, Sani Abacha, he ordered journalists not to cover it. Soldiers beat reporters, seized cameras, they even detained some who tried. The investigation was never released, and to this day, no one has seen the black box transcript. That silence fueled whispers. Was it just poor maintenance, or was it something darker? Because remember, just 2 years earlier, majors and lieutenant colonels had tried a coup, and in this crash, it was mostly majors and lieutenant colonels that were wiped out. President Ibrahim Babangida, he called it a national tragedy. He wept when he flew over the wreckage. Independence Day celebrations were cancelled. On October 5th, a mass military funeral was held in Abuja. The Nigerian victims, more than 140 of them, they were laid to rest together at the National Military Cemetery. Each one was in a cedar casket lined with plush interiors. And for the foreign officers from Ghana, from Tanzania, Uganda and Zimbabwe, their bodies were honored in Nigeria and then they were flown back home to their countries for burial. Condolences poured in from across the world. Queen Elizabeth, the UN, African leaders. And there's another side to this story. The ones that got away. Some officers, they narrowly missed that flight. They postponed their trip, or maybe they were reassigned. Some later rose to senior ranks in the military, and that was sort of a reminder of what would have been for those that died that day. But for the families left behind, the pain never ended. Wives became widows overnight. Children lost parents. It was horrible. Promises were made to them. housing, pensions, support. 33 years later, many widows are still waiting for that support. Even last year, they came forward again saying, we have not been paid our entitlements. So today we remember them. Nigerians, Ghanaians, Tanzanians, Ugandans, Zimbabweans, 159 souls who boarded NAF 911 and never came home. The deadliest C-130 crash in history. A generation of leaders lost, but never forgotten. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like stories like this, please follow me on all my social media. I tell these stories all the time. Thank you.